And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Does LGBTQ plus issues belong in an elementary school classroom or in books? Parents in one state, Maryland, are protesting to shield their kids from a curriculum with those very themes. My next guest shares their thoughts on the issue. And joining us here on The Factor Uncensored, we have with us Hayden Cohen. Hayden, glad to have you here on The Factor Uncensored. We see what's going on in Maryland where parents are upset. They say they should be able to opt out when it comes to what their children are taught in the school district, including LGBTQ, books, and of course, discussion of gender and sexuality. Why would that be a problem if parents don't want their children in that classroom?
So these are all topics that are taught at an age-appropriate level. And so when you decide to remove children from that classroom, that means that they're not taught about crucial concepts like inclusivity and diversity that is all around them anyway. It just means that students don't have that education, they don't have that worldview, and they're missing out. And they're also going to grow up not knowing that there are people different than them, not knowing that there are other people that have different families that look different. It kind of closes them off to a very, very narrow world.
Do you think they're at an age, though, they would know who's around them and that there are differences among my classmates? But as a parent, the parent is saying, look, I want to take this on my path, my journey, my time, and not have the school district come in and teach this to my child. And then the burden is on me to explain it when I get home. Wouldn't that be fair for parents?
It's a difficult one. They were arguing on the basis of freedom of religion and saying, hey, their religion violates what's being taught in the classrooms right now, and they want to be able to teach it on their own terms. And I'm going to be honest. So, as I said, these were all age-appropriate lessons. These were all books that were completely on brand for that age level. They were very easy to read, picture books and stuff that would kind of foster a conversation in that classroom setting. Mm-hmm. And so when I think, the difficulty is that there are so many topics that I'm sure parents should be talking to their kids outside of school. And I think this kind of just prompts their ability to do so. It says to parents, hey, we're talking about diversity. We're talking about the different kinds of families that exist. Maybe you should be having this conversation with your kids, even at an earlier age. We're not teaching kids like really intimate parts of people's lives. We're telling them, hey, Uncle Barry has a husband. That's what these books are teaching them.
And what do you see as an appropriate age to have these discussions with your children? What would you suggest to parents out there who say, look, I want to wait until they're in middle school, high school, before we approach this issue?
So full disclosure, I'm not at all an early childhood specialist or anyone in that child development.
Yeah, I get that.
So
now,
coming from me, kids are understanding gender at a very, very early age. And so I think having those very kid-friendly conversations of like, hey, it's okay if boys dress up as girls and wear princess dresses if they'd like. I think having those conversations at such an early age is totally acceptable. People are going to grow up. Kids are going to grow up, even in elementary and middle school. They might be seeing relatives have gay relationships. They're already being exposed to these differences in the diversity of our world at an early age. So I think it's totally okay to start these conversations in an age-appropriate manner as soon as they can speak, as soon as they start understanding these concepts.
And you think that, and that would, I'm just trying to get a number out of you. What do you think, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10?
I think it can be earlier than 6. I think it can be
before 6?
Yes, I babysat kids who, I was babysitting some kids. They must have been, I think they just turned 4 years old. And they were struggling to figure out if I was a he or a she. Okay. And so I think, even at that young age, they start associating, okay, but they're wearing pants, so they must be a he, or they're wearing a skirt, so they must be a she. They're already starting to kind of develop the sense of gender and that construct in their head. So we can start talking about it at an earlier age. As I said, it
Sure,
needs to
a
be in an
lot of
age appropriate
parents would
manner.
disagree with you on that. But of course, I wanted to hear that number from you. I was interested in what you thought was the appropriate age. Hey, always good to see you here, and we appreciate your time on the Factor Uncensored. Obviously, this is a situation we will be following in Maryland, and of course, it'll pop up all over across the country. We thank you for your time.